I mean, yeah, absolutely. That is the worst that could happen. We're just like,
the worst thing that could happen is probably well. Anywho's
the worst thing that could happen is we say something on stream that we shouldn't say.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, stream.
Hello, everyone.
Nice to meet you, streams.
It is once again Friday here at the. Well, it's Friday everywhere. Mostly everywhere.
Mostly everywhere.
Yeah, and so we're joined once again here at the Funcom streaming room here in Oslo. I'm Jens Erik, your community manager, and joining me this time is Alexander.
Hello, Jens.
Or Alex.
Alex, either way. One works.
One works. Who is, well, who are you, Alex?
So I'm Alex.
Yes.
I am I work at Funcom.
Obviously.
Obviously. It'd be weird if I didn't. I randomly shot up in the stream.
Yeah, you're just a dude who walked in and is like, hey!
We need someone to sit in this chair. Would you like to come upstairs with us for a bit?
We need someone to make me look taller, you know?
I'm not that short. What do I do? I'm a senior designer at Funcom for like almost 10 years now.
Wow.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Many things.
Oh, yeah.
It's been interesting.
How's it been?
It's been good. It's been bad. Mostly good.
Yeah?
Sometimes scary. Sometimes nervous on stream, but it's not that nervous.
Happy with it so far?
Yeah, it's been fun.
And for those of you who've been with us for a while, you might recognize Alex from the Conan Exiles PvP stream we did way back before we.
That video. It was a bit janky at the sides.
Way back before we launched in early access. We did a PvP stream, and you were one of the defending players against me and Joel. And then just at the end, you came in and you said something in Russian, and all the Russians in the chat just like, ah!
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
That was a very
Привет.
fun. Yeah. If there's any people from Russia out there, yeah. Shout out to you guys. Anyway, so let's just do a quick recap of what's been happening since the last stream, because it's been 2 weeks and a lot of stuff can happen in 2 weeks. So, first of all, the pets update has finally come out with all the trimmings on all platforms. It was in, I think it was in test live for like a month or something, and there's been a ton of fixes, ton of changes, ton of tweaks, and like you worked on some of that. We're gonna touch on that a bit later. So, you get the pets update. There's the Jebel Sag religion. The Midnight Grove is out. The offhand combos is out, which I think you also helped.
Yes, that's actually quite a fair bit of content that will
the specialist arrows are out.
Yes.
So it's a fair amount of stuff, all for free, of course, because you know that's how we do it. So we rolled out the first half on PC and PS4 last week. Part 2 rolled out on said platforms this week, and then Xbox got the full brunt, just all of it at the same time. Okay. And then also we did an hour before the stream started, we hotfixed PC. So
we did that, right?
Oh yeah, just like psh, here it comes. Absolutely.
Good guy, Nicholas.
We also shout outs to Scooper in chat, who's one of our lead coders in charge of patching. Yeah. He knows who he is.
He knows who he is. Yes. He used to work less.
Now
come to judo more often.
Do you miss having him
at judo? I miss having him at judo.
Yeah.
He's been working super hard for you guys. You people don't understand. I feel lonely.
But you work, like, we all work super hard. You work super hard.
Yeah.
You worked here for 10 years, Alex. Yeah. You can't stay at a place for 10 years and not say that you work hard.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. All right. So because there was a slight issue with pet names, so we fixed that. That's in the hotfix and a bunch of other stuff that we needed to roll out. We have also launched our latest DLC, the Savage Frontier Pack, which is, as many of you guessed, inspired by the Picts in the Conan the Barbarian universe. And yeah, Funcom's Cooper. He does know who he is. Yeah. Reception has been good so far. People really seem to like it. Some people were upset that we didn't have decorative placeables and all that kind of stuff, and that is because, well, the Picts are barbarians, and they are they eat people. What's the word? Cannibals.
Cannibalism.
Yeah. And so they don't really decorate a lot. Like maybe
they decorate with people's bodies.
I guess, yeah. Shrunken heads.
You can be
and
artistic
stuff like that.
with intestines.
Yeah. Just like paint with blood. That'd be something. So that's come out, but we gave you a couple of pet skins, and maybe there's going to be more pet skins in the future. Who knows? Everything is open. Finally, in terms of future stuff, we're not just going to look backwards. We're going to look forwards a bit as well. We are planning some Halloween event stuff. There's already things happening in Secret World Legends with our whole Sam Hine thing. But we're going to do something for Conan Exiles as well. There's going to be more information about that in next week's newsletter. But I think people are really going to like it because it's some cool stuff that we're doing. We're also discussing doing some outside of the game events like competitions, etc., etc. But we'll talk more about that very, very soon. All right. I do not
asking.
I don't really know a bunch of stuff. They're talking amongst themselves. So we will sometimes be taking questions from the chat. Like if you have any questions for Alex about design, about dungeons, about boss fights, all of that stuff, feel free to just shout it out.
Yeah. We'll try to catch them as they scroll.
We'll try to catch them as they scroll by. Yes, we do look in chat sometimes, but we also have a plan of stuff to cover. So sometimes that would entail looking away from the chat itself. But all right. I guess we just jump right into the midnight.
Rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. So,
your get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I like it.
Do you like my get up?
I like
I'm
the
actually
purple.
gonna turn.
Someone was playing a game. He had some blues, some yellows. Nope, not correct. Not purple. Don't care.
So, for those of you who haven't been here yet, this is the Midnight Grove, which we rolled out alongside Pets and the Jebel Sog religion, all that kind of stuff. This is where you go to learn the Jebel Sog religion. And you, Alex, you designed this.
I was the designer in charge of the feature of Jebel Sag Dungeon,
right?
Which means that the design of the dungeon and maintaining all of the loose ends as it all comes together magically with all of the different professions putting in their bits.
So you're like the overseer,
yes,
of everything.
Yes.
So you just do you just then tell people what to do and then they do it, or?
Yes and no. It depends who. Obviously everyone has a boss. People tell me what they want.
Yeah.
And then we get something done, and then so on and so forth. Some cooperation, collaboration. Bam, piece of content.
So, when making a dungeon like this, like what comes first? Is it the physical layout? Is it the length? Is it the challenge? Is everything sort of done at once?
There's a lot of talk that happens at once where, for example, I'm told that, hey, Alex, I would like you to please make me a piece of content, that is, piece of dungeon content, of a specific difficulty tier for a specific number of people that takes X amount of time to play through.
Right.
And that's where we have. It's about an hour. Took us about so much time to actually develop. And the result is this. Generally speaking, once we know our targets, we will go into rough phases of communicating with the environment artists and the lore guys about how we're going to make this fit the character of the game and the setting, right? Like, what is a Jebel Sag dungeon going to look like?
And since he's the Lord of Beasts and all that stuff, like, of course, he would need sort of a forest look. He would need a lot of animals. So.
It's quite interesting. It's not only the Lord of Beasts, but the connection between humans and beasts.
Right.
So people that have played through this on Test Live sort of have an understanding what that technically means, and based on some of the bosses also.
Yes, absolutely. I think part of what this, like for me at least, part of what makes this dungeon really shine are the boss battles, but also how just the physical layout works, because it's a bit of a maze. Like you are going in one direction, but you still have to like pick and choose.
It's very tricky to make something feel like a maze, but technically not be a maze at the same time.
Right.
Where no one likes to get lost for the better part of 15 minutes.
Yes.
Backtracking circles. There's time and place in it, but realistically speaking, that the time and place for that is not in a multiplayer co-op game.
Right.
It depends. Right. So we had to make sure this felt like a maze, was not technically a maze, had interesting content for people to work through, and different and interesting bosses to fight against.
Yeah. And so, like, how do you judge if something like this is like difficult enough, or like how do you judge challenge essentially? So,
from design point of view, we have the greatest tool in the world, Excel. Right? It's a laugh, but this is a little secret to the stream.
Right.
If you're going to learn how to use any tool in your life, learn how to use Excel. So we have Excel, and Excel is a It can do many things. We use it as a calculator to guess what the difficulty should be of a piece of content versus the character of this amount of progression with this amount of gear,
right?
With steel, with a stone, with whatever items. Out of that, we get a whole bunch of numbers, which gives us a ballpark figure of, okay, we expect this amount of damage from these monsters to deliver this amount of threat to the player.
Oh.
They're interestingly floating. That's awkward. These boards were in the grass.
Surfing boards.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna die now.
Lars. Oh.
Lars.
Lars? Jan Selleck. Who's Lars?
He's the video guy in marketing.
No, there's another Lars as well.
There's artist Lars,
yes.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I'm sorry,
and then there's
guys.
animation Lars, who you work with.
Animation Lars?
Isn't that his name? Never mind.
Anywho, right, sorry.
There's a lot of Excel.
There's a lot of Excel that happens, and the end result of Excel is put these numbers on these creatures. That's great. However, that doesn't make a game, right? Because when you actually go in to play it, it might not feel nice. They might behave awkwardly. The combination of numbers with the animation content doesn't quite match up. Therefore, you get a mismatch result. Too much one way, too much another way. At the end of the day, to get a piece of content that plays nice, feels nice, even though you can math it out, you still have to go back and play through it and actually feel how it's played and experience it yourself. Otherwise, you'll never get what you're looking for. So once this content has been, once the dungeon layout has been set, populated, mathed, it has to get played through.
Yeah.
And that happened multiple times by myself, by me, with other people, until we got the numbers until we got the feeling that we were sort of looking for in the game for the dungeon content.
And so you're like at least the way I'm reading it, like your job involves a lot of math and a lot of iteration and like doing it again and again and again. And whereas the environmental artist, like they are the person like physically building the entire thing.
So I worked on this with a very, very talented individual called Ivan.
Yes.
And he did I don't think all of the aesthetics, because we had some more help with particles from a few other people, but he did the layout and the aesthetics of the environment specifically.
Right.
So you guys are seeing everything on screen. Ivan made a fair bit of this stuff.
Oh yeah, and he is super talented. Yes. I think he's like one of the best guys we have.
Working with him side by side, I think this is the first time me and him made a dungeon together. I don't know. I don't remember about TSL. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, Ivan worked on this layout side by side, and we started off with a grey box, and then that turns into, hey, how much walking time do we want to have in this dungeon? Well, we want the whole thing to last 1 hour-ish. Okay, let's go with that. So what does that mean for this section? Well, that means that this section needs to be about X amount of minutes of walking and Y amount minutes of fighting. We put some content in, put some placeholder stuff in, run through it. Hey, it's too long, too short, adjust, rinse and repeat until we get the numbers that we want.
Yeah, but it's not like it's. Oh, I'm definitely gonna die now because it's not.
This piece of content is quite difficult for solo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a reason you have it running out. There's a reason you have to run a lot of purple.
Oh, I'm gonna die now.
Bam.
Boom. All right, I'm gonna respawn in it.
So this is
hopefully I'm not
feature,
gonna lose everything.
This is one of the features that we implement specifically for this. You guys are seeing this on screen now, right? Where we can respawn the players directly into dungeons instead of having to kick you all the way out into space. We lose everything. We should have set this to be a no-drop server.
I should have done that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm just going to cloak myself, and then I'm going to run back, and I'm going to get my stuff.
There we go.
And then everything's going to be good.
So yeah, we have the physical layout, we have the mathematics that come into it, we have the sort of the challenge level that we want for the target number of people with the target target amount of progression. And progression means both stats and items, and then we play through it until we get the feeling that we want.
Right.
Pretty much the process.
It sounds like a pretty lengthy process.
It can be, yes. Obviously, the length of the process is dependent on how much time we are given for the piece of content.
Right.
So you can spend 6 weeks, or you can spend 3 months. Obviously, more time invested results in significantly higher quality or the amount of content that you do instead, right? But for this is at this target level.
So in total, how long would you say it took to like make just the Midnight Grove? if that is something we're allowed to say.
I actually don't know if we're allowed to say that.
All right.
I will err on the side of caution and choose to dodge.
It took a while. Let's say that.
It took some time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's interesting what you said in that, like, there's a lot of Excel, there's a lot of math to it.
There
because
is, yes.
I think a lot of people have this image of working at a game studio as being, you know, you sit around and you talk about games all the time, and then you play a lot, and then you play some more.
Wow.
And like, etc., etc., etc. And but like every time we have people from outside, quote unquote, come in here, then I'm just going to warn them, like, it's just a bunch of people sitting in front of computers.
It's not that interesting.
And a lot of them are just looking at Excel.
The most interesting people, or I don't know, no, let me not say that. The most interesting people do not work in Excel.
Right.
However, designers.
So you're not one of the interesting people.
I'm not one of the interesting people. However, designers have to spend significant amount of time in Excel. Right. Being familiar and not afraid of pressing some buttons and making some formulas happen.
Right. Because I'm guessing there's a lot of just trying. Oh, I'm cloaked myself, so that's why they're not attacking.
Very nice. I would have thought the game's a little bit easy. Guys.
Yeah, my there we go. Now that all the people who complain that I don't know the game well enough complain even more about me not. So how often do you try something out and then realize, oh, this isn't going to work at all, and you just scrap it?
So this is one of the things that you learn over time, right? This isn't the first time I've made a piece of content. It is the first time I really made a significant piece of content on Conan Exiles, but in my career, it's not the first time. So you develop a certain sense for how things ought to be with the time restraints that you have, with the features that you know are in the game, with the models and the animations that you have to make the thing that your boss wants you to make. Right. So all of that combined with a little bit of experience sprinkled on top results in I sort of have a fairly good, educated, professional guesstimate of how long it's going to take me to make this amount of content in this amount of time. From that, there's obviously ebb and flow about should we do this? Should we do it this way? What if we do this? What happens if we don't meet our deadlines for this content, or we don't get a new monster mesh or new animations, or what happens if Oyvind is not going to want to make this dungeon, for example?
Because that could happen as well.
That could also happen. Yeah. He could just not like outdoors viney places. Right.
Yeah. And then obviously you need to move on to someone else, or just take a new idea,
or convince Oyvind that vines are not so bad.
I mean, based on what he's made, I think he
enjoys it.
I don't think he hates vines.
I don't think he hates vines
that much.
But
if I'm being honest.
Here's the I've known him for a while.
Yeah,
rocks are a favorite of Oyvind.
Yeah,
putting a rock on things is absolutely his favorite task of the day.
Because I know, because I read and I write the patch notes for every time we patch, and so there's a lot of, I usually see his tasks are like, moved a rock here, or this rock was floating, so I pushed it down, and I fixed this seam here because it was ugly, because people could get through it, and all that kind of stuff.
Guys, floating rocks are no joke. It's how exploits happen. It's a serious issue. Oyvind, thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm not sure if he's watching. I hope so.
Okay, he'll watch it when I link him the video later.
Just tell him that we talked a bunch of shit about him on stream, and then he's just gonna go, "Oh no, what happened?"
No. He's a very nice person.
Yes, he's
the
best. He also has an NPC named after him.
Does he really?
There's someone called something Longlegs or something.
Is there one named after me?
I don't know.
Oh,
you'll have to ask Joel.
Oh, that's almost not fair.
You will have to ask Joel.
Okay, I'll speak to Joel about it.
Yeah. So for the Midnight Grove, or just for dungeons in general, like what would you consider to be the biggest challenge in designing and creating this stuff?
So it depends on the game, right? For Exiles, the biggest challenge is the variety of modes in which the game can be played.
Right,
because we have so many server settings and so much. And there isn't a level system. There is a way to gauge power, but it's very difficult to say that people in this dungeon will be of n amount of power in this stage of their playthrough.
And we're not like instancing this either. It's not like in World of Warcraft. Absolutely. Where you have like level zones.
This is the best way to think about dungeons in Exiles at the moment, unless we choose to change it at some point, is that it is an open world playfield that is hyper focused on a piece of content.
Right.
right? It is a small piece of hyper-focused content where a majority of people can pile in, and stuff happens.
And pile in they do.
They do. Oh, they do. We had some discussions about the most non-egregious way to control the pile-in, and time being a constraint. Some of those designs didn't make it in, but we never know. Maybe we'll implement them in one of our future dungeons. We'll see. I don't want to use the bullets to shoot off too soon before we actually get around to doing it.
Yeah, but yeah, like we're also working on new stuff, which we're not allowed to talk about just yet. But I assume you've also had your hand in some of these as well,
a little bit, a little bit, here and there.
So let's we can shift directions a bit and talk about some of the boss fights here, because like for the most part right now I'm fighting regular enemies and they're spaced out at some fairly decent intervals. They give me a challenge. Then if I have to stop a bit to heal, then I can.
It's one of the interesting. It's another side effect. It's not really a side effect. It's another effect of making content, specifically dungeon content, for a game with this perspective, this combat system. The fact that it's potentially PvP or PvE or anything in between those scales, and you don't have absolute control. You don't have relative control of how players experience it.
Right.
So we have erred on the side of make it challenging, but don't completely abuse the players with spawn mechanics, with hard pulls, with NPC traps or aggro traps or anything of the sort, like you find in more traditional MMOs.
Right.
And this is where the majority of my experience is from, is more traditional MMOs that like specifically TSW and a smaller game, Lego Minifigures Online.
Yes.
So we erred on the side of caution, not to go too much on the MMO side, but allow people just to have more fun with it and take their time working through the dungeon, working through the monsters, working through the bosses, and feel the encounters out without really having to stress about did I aggro correctly or not correctly, so on and so forth.
And so like choosing what kind of bosses to put into a dungeon, is that something that comes from Joel as a game director? Is it something that comes from you? Is it a team-based effort?
It's a team-based effort. So realistically speaking, nothing is purely an individual's work, right? Everyone contributes, everyone has inputs their ideas, and there's a discussion, and like, okay, based on what we can do, based on what we think we can do, and on what we have, we will try to do this because this makes sense because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So the first boss that you're coming up to in a second makes relatively contextual sense in the place where you're fighting.
Okay. You're going to have to explain that a little bit
For instance,
further.
It's going to be an animal.
Yes.
Right? It's an animal with unique attacks that we've added to it just to make it a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more scary.
Oh god. And you know, you are fighting in an animal-based dungeon, so like I guess you would expect to fight
something, right?
Beasts, yeah.
There is another lore tidbit here, but it skips my mind exactly what it is for now. I'm a little bit sorry.
Come on.
Oh, that Archer Chitin fight is strong. Whoa, Chitin fight.
I hate kiting. It's the worst. I hate it.
There are some lore hooks here that I'm just forgetting right now, and I'm sorry for that. But there are connections. And if we had, I don't know if they're getting game audio, Jabal Sag is actually,
they should be.
Oh, they should be. So Jabal Sag is talking to you.
Yes. And
he's saying things that make contextual sense. So where is this monster?
This is the panther.
This becomes a very interesting fight if you're by yourself.
Oh, I bet. Like I've fought this thing before and I got almost crushed. But these attacks that they do, like I'm also assuming that is like it's just discussions that you have with the creature artists. It's discussions that you have with the animators who are making this.
So for example, you see some of his side dodge attacks.
Right.
We wanted to challenge players and their shields by getting the NPC that attacks them to try to flank the shield, which is why that attack exists.
Yeah.
So we want to change the angle of attack to challenge the player's ability to block, to be in the correct position, to be aware, to dodge just like you did, to dodge away from the attacks, just to make the engagement level higher with the NPC than you would otherwise have in our more open world content.
Right. So it's sort of based to, like to me at least, when I'm doing the solo, it feels like it's made to be.
It feels agile.
Like, well, yeah, and it's like
it's a panther.
It's a bit of a duel too.
It is.
So it's like it is one-on-one right now. Like if we were several people, like we would just probably pile on it. And
you would pile on it, but again, so this is where the difficulty of the designing of multiplayer open world content comes in.
Yes.
You don't know how many people are going to be there. You don't know their level of progression in the game. Therefore, it makes it quite challenging to predict and balance it to be always right.
Exactly.
So we take a guess, we try to put that dart where we want it to land, and then rinse and repeat until we are happy with it. We keep rinsing and repeating.
Yeah. Like that is one of the things that I've learned in the almost 2.5 years that I've been working here. There's a lot of like reiteration all the time. Just like test it over and over and over and over again. And hopefully I won't die here.
I think you're good. You're going. This is very brave. You're doing this without potions. As solo, I'd have expected a couple of healing pots.
Yeah, I should have done that. I should have prepared better.
But this is another, guys. This is another style of the game that you're seeing, where we have in Exiles, you have extreme mechanics where Jans is blocking and not taking any damage.
Yes.
In your traditional games, you'd be taking some damage at very least, right?
Like chip damage.
Exactly.
In like a fighting game.
So we had to challenge the players with the mechanics that we have in place right now to make the content both interesting and rewarding at the same time, without completely breaking the game. So because we didn't really want to so close.
Jinx. All right, someone told me the game audio was off, so I'm just gonna turn it up just a wee bit on this thing. I'm just gonna turn this up. No, that's actually muted. All right, never mind then. Now it should be good, hopefully. I'm just gonna.
So that we're not hearing Jebel Sag calling you
not.
out on your unsportsmanlike panther tactics.
Turn some of this stuff up.
Let's see what we get.
Maybe if we can get somewhere. All right. Live tweaking of the stream.
Ooh, yeah, I like how you pull that pip. I like how you pull that pip also.
Just gotta try it basically. And now I have to make my way naked back to where I was because I didn't. Let's see. Switch on this thing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cheat again. And I'm just gonna ghost my way through this thing.
Okay, I see what you did.
Because aren't I?
Oh, you are okay. Oh, okay, yeah, you are. It's good. It behaved the way I was expecting it to behave. Would have been a bit worried if it didn't.
Angel Grey Gaming asks, what is your favorite part of this dungeon? Alright, where's my corpse? There it is.
What is my favorite part of this dungeon?
Yes.
I like the flow of the whole dungeon as a piece of content, because for me it feels quite natural how we structured it. For example, you chose to go through the boars, right? There are two sections at the beginning of the game where you can either choose to go either through the boars or through the hyenas.
Right.
So you have some options there, right? There is some choice.
Boom.
Oh.
Eat it. Right after I respawned with full health.
There's some choice there. And we made a couple of these paths where you can choose to fight. I would like to fight against the boars because I feel that my playstyle allows me to abuse the boar NPCs significantly more than it allows me to abuse the hyena NPCs. So I'll choose, for example, the bears. So friends, this section right here, we have 3 paths. We have left, middle, and right.
So I'm guessing. Well, I'm not guessing because I know this already. That's bears, so I don't want to go there. This is dudes, so I'm not sure if I want to go there. And this is panthers and what looks like some sort of snake.
I don't think that's snake. I don't think
the pattern up there.
Yeah,
but I know there are no snakes in here. So
which way would you like to go, Jans?
I think
which way would Twitch chat like you to go, Jans? Is a better question.
All right.
Twitch chat. If you spam it quickly, we might be able to react in time.
Let's see what Twitch chat says. It's going to take them about 20 seconds to catch up.
Does it take him 20 seconds? Oh, I forget.
It's a delay. It's a bit of a delay.
It makes stream and Twitch chat conversations a bit not as fun. You don't get the immediate banter.
I'm getting mixed messages. One says panthers, one says bears, one says humans, one says turn back and run. Right, men, mid, right, middle, right. I
don't know. I'll leave it up to you.
It's one of these two, I think.
Yeah, I think Twitch chat is undecisive.
Yes, up towards the heavens. Bears go back. Panthers, dudes. So let's go for the Panthers.
Dice that roll a D3 about now.
I don't have one.
It's okay. Rock and roll.
Is that a thing? Is it D3? I don't think
D3 is a D6.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Right? Or a real D3. No, hold on. You don't actually have.
I don't think there's a thing. I don't think a D3 is actually a thing, unfortunately. All right. There we go. Nice. So what is something that you as a designer will obsess over that a player might not notice? Like what is one of like the hidden secrets of like the Midnight Grove, for example?
It's not specifically to the Midnight Grove. I would say that for designers, really excel. I would elevate this to the next level of OCD.
Right.
Excel color schemes. There's a very very specific color coding pattern that you will follow when you're driving Excel, and if you fail to follow it, it is incorrect Excel work. That is followed, not by far though, followed by, this is for the modders of Conan Exiles, this is followed by straight lines in blueprints.
Right.
Straight lines in blueprints or get out. There is no in between here, or as straight as humanly possible you can get the lines to be. Those are the two things that we obsess over.
Because I've seen some of the, for those of you who don't know, like we should probably explain what blueprints are.
Okay, yes, that'll make it good. Yes. So, in Unreal, blueprints are a version of visual scripting language that we use to make parts of the game with. We have significant portions of the game in blueprints, which means that the game is vastly moddable. Therefore, good stuff, right? But what it means is that unless people are extenuously, is that a word?
Extraneously?
Extraneously. Unless people are extremely OCD about their artistic qualities with straight lines, things very quickly become into a spaghetti monster that is very difficult to keep track and debug and fix when things inevitably go wrong.
And I've seen some of those spaghetti monsters.
We have it on our walls in screenshots.
Yeah?
It's amazing.
I should, like if you still have those, then I should, I don't know, maybe show them on screen. Show them on the screen sometime.
How not to blueprint. That's happened a couple of times.
So,
you guys are checking out the cool new shield combos, right?
Yes.
They've seen this before. This will be on Test Live.
Yes, they've seen this before on Test Live. We've done streams about it as well, but in case you missed it, the item you have in your offhand will now be integrated into your combo. So for the shield, for example, it is a shield smash on the second and fourth attack on your heavy attacks. I was going to say hard attacks, but that's wrong. But you worked on those too.
I worked on the system behind it. I personally did not work on the latest changes that we've made here, so I'm not extremely familiar with them. I'm not extremely familiar with all the details. The system that's running them, I made it, but the actual content that you guys are seeing on screen, I am not so sure of.
Okay.
Or at least I've not seen actually being used by players yet. I need to spend more time on Test Lab, I think.
I've posted a bunch of GIFs of this stuff as it was under development and on Test Lab, and people seem to be really into it because, like, if you get a fatality animation, it looks like you punched a guy so hard with your shield that his head exploded.
Face exploded.
Exactly, which is super good. We talked about this on stream previously, but I think now that you're here, I think also you can talk a bit about it.
Sure.
Because,
depends on what it is.
The bows.
Oh,
the bow rework and specifically the heavy attack on the bows.
Right, let me think. That's not on, that's not on Test Live yet, is it?
No, it's not on Test Live. Yeah. It's not something people can test out yet.
So, there is a bow rework happening, and bows are cool again. Some time was invested into making them significantly more fun to use than previously. When they get on Test Live, you guys will experience the awesomeness that is the power-charged headshot. In PvP, this will be quite entertaining. Be prepared. We probably need to sit down and play through those numbers just to make sure we don't completely break the game.
I think Oscar said at one point that he played through the Midnight Grove and he was headshotting everyone and just killing them over and over and over again.
Actually really good. That was a really good run.
Brodama is mentioning that he took HTML in high school, and that's really easy. So why can't we just program everything?
We will. From now on, HTML is the way forward.
Has anyone ever used HTML to program a video game?
I'm sure someone has at some point. I'm sure someone has made some money making a game in HTML as well.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It sounds horrible to debug.
So, yeah, I guess you can mention it. How does, like, debugging something like this work?
So, depending on the problem, right? So, playing through and feeling the dungeon out is relatively straightforward compared to, I would say, fixing a blueprint networking problem or trying to figure out why a system doesn't behave the way it's designed to behave.
Right.
The best we can do sometimes is go on the live server, do the test case for the issue, and try to guess at what's happening, because not always are the problems reproducible in-house. We have to. Some problems only happen if it's on live and if there's a significant number of people and the database is quite large. Therefore, we need to get a copy of the database, put it on the local version of the editor, run it, try to reproduce it, try to fix it. People that are familiar with coding simply use step-through blueprints just like you would C++. Almost like you would C++. Obviously, there's some functionality that's missing, so it makes things a little bit more difficult to debug, but it's relatively similar to where people will not feel like they're completely in space if they look at one or the other. Right.
There was a question here. It was more for me, not for you. But I really miss placeables in the new DLC. Why didn't we get them this time, Funcom? Well, it's pretty simple. It's because the faction, or the race, basically the race of people, the picks that we've used as inspiration for this new DLC is they're very practical people. Like they
cut people and put them on sticks.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they will literally put people on spikes. They might decorate with shrunken heads and stuff like that. And so I think we could maybe have had like a spike with like a corpse on it or something. But we then decided to go for something that was a bit more animalistic, you know. So we put a lot of effort into how the I'm going to turn on the vanity cam, into how the armors look, how the weapons look.
She looks pretty cool.
Yeah, she's
really
badass as all hell. And we decided to
do amazing work.
Yes,
wow.
Absolutely. So we decided to do pet skins instead of placeables, because in like Pictish culture there aren't a lot of decorations.
They're practical people that run up to you, cut you, take your stuff, and go away.
Yeah. And you know the saying, a Pict is worth 1,000 words. It's real awesome. And then Scooper points out that we have not been in a position where we have the time to dedicate for it, as far as...
Oh, he's not... he's being very
no, that might have been something else, actually. But, alright, anyway. I don't know why my hotbar is grey right now, but it is for some reason.
That's a bit awkward.
That is very awkward. But I think it was because I activated Vanity Cam. So
Vanity Cam, you
live debugging on air. We've done that before.
We got it.
And then if I do this, then it works fine.
Magic, the magic.
Right. I think we're gonna do a giveaway.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. We're going to do a giveaway for the Savage Frontier DLC. And unfortunately, this is just going to be for the Twitch users, because it's very difficult to DM people on Mixer. So really sorry about that, but we're going to start up a raffle
some buttons,
real quick.
Some magic is going to happen.
Push this button, and then we're going to watch the chat just go bonkers eventually. Because now they heard that we said that there was going to be a raffle, and so it's going to, it's open now. It's going to, yeah, exactly.
I guess having 20 seconds lag on your stream makes banter, at least real-time banter, a little bit awkward with
sometimes.
recipients.
There are certain, like Mixer, for example, allows you to turn that stuff off.
Okay.
But Twitch sort of has it built in. Like you can tone it down as much as you want, but there will sometimes be that lag, unfortunately. But it's. I think they're slowly, working towards it in some way, but it's gonna be that here. So yeah, now it's good. Yes, Carbuncle points out there is less lag on Mixer, and I should also just refill my hunger and water stuff. Real quick. All right. Let's keep this going for a bit more. How are you feeling, Alex?
I'm
feeling good?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I thought I'd be more nervous. I'm not that much nervous.
Yeah,
it's pretty chill.
You are a pretty chill person, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
like you're able to take a lot of things at just like face value, and then you just
rock and roll.
I was gonna. Someone said the music was a bit too loud, so I'm gonna turn that down again.
It's one of those things where it's trial and error, friends. Rinse and repeat.
All right, turn it down a bit. I can also turn the knob down a bit there. All right, another question from Angel Grey Gaming. What was one thing you liked but couldn't add to this dungeon, if anything?
No, this is one of the features that I spoke about at the beginning, when we just started running through the dungeon. For instance, we were quite concerned at how players would interact with each other and loading screens coming into the dungeon.
Right, because if a party already warps in and then a solo player warps in, like they can just stand there bristling with weapons.
They're just ready to rock. They're ready to go, and you are busy loading, getting your bearings. One of the ideas we had was to get into the Midnight Grove, you drink a potion.
Yeah.
You inebriate a liquid that does things to your body, and you wake up in the Midnight Grove.
Yeah.
One of the ideas we had was to have the player dream float down from the sky, and as they're floating down they can observe the ground before them, so they have their moment to orientate, focus. Like, I see baddies, I know what I'm going to do, I don't trust these people at all, I focus, touch the ground, go into my thing, start fighting or start running, whichever the case may be. I'm a little bit sad that didn't make it in, but that was in the time space that we had to implement that feature. It was just too expensive. Something else would have had to be cut, and the other things were just uncuttable.
Because I think that is like game development in a nutshell. It is allocation of resources. It is what do we have the time to do, and like given infinite time and infinite resources, like there's a ton of stuff we could have done in this game, and like you see that in some games that have longer development cycles. They have a much bigger budgets than we are. For example, they're able to do more stuff.
They can do more stuff. Yeah.
All right, I closed the raffle, and then I'm going to click the button that says draw.
Do it.
And there's no like. I wish I should have added a drum solo sound to this thing. But,
that's the best I can do. So
it's fine. It's fine.
We'll stop that.
And the winner is MS Moofy. Thank you so much for following us on Twitch. I'm going to announce them as the winner in chat, and then I'm going to have to find them. Let's see. There you go, Ms. Moofy. That's probably what it is. I'm just a bit of a dumb. And I think I'm just gonna go jump into another raffle because I'm feeling generous.
Back to back.
I am feeling
my goodness.
I'm feeling very generous. Wow. Today. It is a good day.
It is a good day.
It's mostly a good day. It's Friday.
It's a Friday.
It's always a good day.
I thought yesterday was a Friday also. But it wasn't.
Yeah, that's the worst. That is the absolute worst. All right. And then, of course...
And then raffle.
Then raffle happens.
Great.
Like, I think this is one of my favorite moments, just seeing the chat go completely insane out of all of this. All right. So, Alex, we're running through some questions.
We're running through our list. We're checking it twice, making sure we get everything for everyone.
Exactly. This sort of blends with what was asked earlier, but do you have a favorite like feature or design choice that you've helped make in Conan Exiles?
So, for me, I implemented the first version of combat that we had in the game, that we went to early access with.
Yes.
I was never really happy with it because it lacked the what's the word I'm looking for here? It lacked tactical combat of interaction between characters and non-character and NPCs in the game. So when we eventually got the bandwidth to allow ourselves the opportunity to rework it, we jumped on it. We knew what we did for early access did not really push any boundaries. It was already done. It wasn't very interesting. we had to push the boundaries somehow. So we chose to take this approach where we have a more not really focused, what's a good word? You commit significantly more to this combat. It's a little bit more, you can't freely move around, swing your sword and hope for the best. It's more, you have to commit to your action and suffer the repercussions of suffer the repercussions of a bad choice, or the repercussions, not really repercussions of a good choice, or suffer the results of a good choice because you are experienced at the combat system, read the situation correctly. That panther's quite cool. Read the situations correctly and reacted to it. There you go.
It feels to me at least like it felt like night and day when the switchover happened.
Really.
And I was able to play around with this stuff as well. And
I had an amazing. The people that worked with me had an amazing time working this style of combat system because it's so visceral, it's so in depth, it so connects one player to another player when they're trying to fight each other. It is very enjoyable to interact with.
I think it's also good to have proper movements because before it was very small. It was
your classical first person running around swinging my melee weapon in a swirling melee of uncontrollable, non-cohesive action. I enjoyed working in the combat system and I think everyone loves it. I hope that everyone loves it.
Knock on wood. I think the odd people who didn't like it were the people who, as you said, misjudged a situation. They lunged for something, then they fell off a cliff, and that happens.
It happens. Yeah, absolutely.
And I've had that in other video games where I've tried to do something, and then suddenly my character just rolls off somewhere and doesn't. All right. I've once again locked the raffle, and I'm going to draw a winner. And the winner is Engine Fear. Thank you so much for following us on Twitch. I'm going to announce them as a winner in chat. And then...
congratulations.
Engine Fear. Congratulations, Engine Fear. You are the proud owner of a Savage Frontier key. All right, let's see. What time is it? It is 10 to 6. All right. So we have a couple of minutes left, and we're at the end of our questions, unfortunately. But philosophically, aren't we all winners? We are, Jeffrey. You're the best winner because you are the best one at asking weird and funny questions in chat, in my opinion. So,
Wait, you know him?
I don't know him, but I know I know of him. I've seen him in chat several times. He's been He's been one of our. He's asking where your beard is, but you have something. You don't have the whole thing that I do. But...
I have to cut this goes away every week and a bit. Otherwise, it gets ridiculous.
All right.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to add or mention in terms of your work, the stuff that we've shown, stuff that we haven't talked about that you feel should be mentioned?
I think there's lots of stuff I would like, considering the time that we have remaining. I would simply like to say thank you everyone for playing our game, and thank you everyone at Funcom for working with me on making this game.
Aw, that's lovely. All right, then I'm gonna switch us over to here. That was supposed to be gone. There it is. Now it's gone.
There we go.
So I think we're gonna call it there. Stream is gonna be a bit on the shorter side, but we killed about 50 minutes. So it's sometimes we do longer streams, sometimes we do slightly shorter streams. Let's see. Right, we're gonna be back in 2 weeks. That's the 26th of October, and maybe we'll be able to show some bow stuff. I'm not gonna promise anything.
We will try.
Knock on wood. We will try our damnedest
absolutely
to get this stuff to get it ready, and then if we're able to get it ready, then of course we'll do that. But yeah, no promises as of yet. But hopefully. Thank you, Alex, for joining me.
It's been amazing to be here.
Thank you very much to our moderators. Thank you very much to Nicole, who's been moderating Twitch chat. Thank you very much to Carbuncle, who's been moderating Mixer chat. Couldn't do what I do without you guys.
You'll aim to show both stuff. That's pretty cool.
I like that. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that?
Some people are just
Yes. And in the future, we're gonna be not necessarily splitting our time, but there's gonna be Conan Exiles streams, and there's also gonna be Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden streams.
That's also a thing.
Yes, that is also a thing which we're publishing. for the Bearded Ladies guys over in Malmö. So we're going to be showing off that on streams going forward. That's not going to collide with the Conan streams. They're going to be back to back, sort of. And we're also planning a spooky Halloween stream on the 31st.
How spooky?
The spookiest. There's going to be, I don't know, as spooky as possible. I'm thinking maybe we should get one because Conan, what am I saying? Funcom once made a, I think it's a Sega Genesis game called Nightmare Circus.
Wait.
It's like a really old platformer. So I want to try to play that because it has like a Halloween theme.
I see
it.
where we're going with this. Okay.
So it's gonna be the spookiest stream.
Spooky stream.
In 8-bit, of course.
8-bit spooky.
Yes. Be on the lookout for announcement of that. And just because I want to, I'm gonna do one final giveaway. Oh yeah.
Friends.
Reset. And then open up another raffle.
Wow. Good guy, Jans.
And then just exclamation point, raffle, and then Tweaknos asks, Funcom was around in the Sega Genesis era. Oh yeah, like we've been around for 25 years. If you look us up on Wikipedia, there's this scary. There's like Funcom pre-Longest Journey and then Funcom post-Longest Journey, which is really interesting because there's a lot of ports and a lot of like 8-bit games. I think we ported Samurai Showdown at one point. We made a Casper game. We made a Pocahontas game.
Yeah, there's a CD of that somewhere in the house.
Yeah, some of that stuff is over in the glass monitor over there. So it's we've done a lot.
Funcom's been around for a good couple of years.
Hell yes, and hopefully many more. I'll drink to that while the raffle goes.
This is water, by the way.
Yes. It wasn't beer o'clock today. It was Coke Zero o'clock.
That's next week.
Maybe. We'll see.
Probably. You need to convince us.
At least we didn't make ET. That is very true. We didn't do that. Okay. I think also Nicole, after I've done this raffle, I think Nicole has a person that we can raid in Twitch. Yes. You might not know what this is.
What is this? Person that you can raid in Twitch.
So there's a thing in Twitch.
Okay.
There's two things actually. You can host another streamer, which means that you just put their content on your channel.
This means I don't watch enough Twitch.
Yes, but there's also something called a raid. And during a raid, we choose someone who's playing Conan Exiles. Okay. And then we just push our entire chat into their stream.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty fun to see someone who has like 2, 10, 15 viewers suddenly just see their viewer numbers spike
I like
up in
shell
the air.
shock. Shell shock is good.
Nicole should be...
Shell shock.
Just a little shell shock.
Just like video game shell shock, not real.
Nicole should be finding someone that we can raid, and I'm gonna close this raffle down. I'm gonna draw it one final time, draw one final winner, and that is BitTwist. Thank you so much for following us. Wow, they've been around on Twitch for a long time. 1,788 days ago. That's 4 years.
It's interesting. That shows you in days rather than human readable values.
Yep. But
that's a designer problem.
That is just how it is. Oh, look, there's a bear cub on the game, which they can't see because I'm on the other side. But congratulations to BitTwist. I'm just gonna find that person and give them a little whisper and go, congrats, you won a key. All right, Nicole. Hopefully she can hear me. She's been able to hear me all this time. If you found someone that we can raid, just go ahead and start the thing, and then we can say goodbye. Basically, what's my spooky costume for Halloween?
I was going to ask that.
I don't know.
How spooky do you go? Which version of spooky do you go?
As spooky as possible. But I have 5 seconds to answer this question, so I'm just gonna not answer it, and I'm gonna say bye.
Ha det bra.